Current Affairs, the 14th of July 2020. Retail inflation rises to 6.09% in June on account of high food prices. Retail inflation increased to 6.09% in June, mainly on account of higher prices of food items. Food inflation in June increased to 7.87%, according to Consumer Price Index (CPI) data. The inflation figures are based on data collected from limited markets in view of the restrictions imposed on account of COVID-19 pandemic. WPI inflation contracts for third consecutive month in June. India's wholesale price index-based inflation contracted for the third consecutive month in June as crude oil price fell drastically while manufacturers lost pricing power as consumer demand waned due to the unfolding COVID-19 pandemic. Data released by the industry department showed wholesale price index (WPI) inflation contracted 1.81% in June against 3.21% contraction in May. Passenger vehicle sales in India declined 49.59% in June. Passenger vehicle sales in India declined by 49.59% in June to 1,05,617 units as against 2,09,522 units in the same month last year as the sector looks to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic-induced lockdown. Auto Industry Body Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, SIAM, said. Delhi CM Kejriwal launches second plasma bank for COVID-19 patients at LNJP Hospital. Delhi's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal inaugurated the second plasma bank in the capital. The plasma bank was inaugurated at Delhi's LNJP Hospital. Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia was also present at the launch. Earlier, Delhi had launched the first plasma bank in the country at the capital's ILBS. U.S. budget deficit hits all-time high of $864 billion in June. The federal government in the U.S. incurred the biggest monthly budget deficit in history in June as spending on programs to combat the COVID-19 recession exploded while millions of job losses cut into tax revenues. The Treasury Department reported Monday that the deficit hit $864 billion last month, an amount of red ink that surpasses most annual deficits in the nation's history and is above the previous monthly deficit record of $738 billion in April. Mukesh Ambani surpasses Google co-founder Larry Page to become world's sixth richest. Reliance Industries Limited (RIL) chairman Mukesh Ambani has surpassed Alphabet, Google's parent, co-founder Larry Page to become the world's sixth richest person. Ambani's wealth is now worth $72.4 billion, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Monday's 3% surge in RIL's shares saw Ambani's wealth rising by $2.17 billion to $72.4 billion. MasterCard commits 250 crore rupees to support small businesses in India. MasterCard announced a commitment of 250 crore rupees to help reboot Indian small and medium enterprises (SMEs) and enable business recovery. Their dependence on the cash economy and supply chain disruptions have made small and medium businesses among the hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. NABARD to provide bank refinance of 5,000 crore rupees for watershed development projects. The National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD, announced 5,000 crore rupees of refinance scheme for banks and financial institutions for providing finance to the beneficiaries of its 2,150 watershed development projects. The Development Finance Institution also earmarked another 5,000 crore rupees for turning primary agricultural credit societies (PACS), building blocks of the country's cooperative banking structure, into multi-service centers. RIL jumps 47 places in 3 months to 51st most valued company in world with $170 billion M-Cap. Billionaire Mukesh Ambani-led Reliance Industries (RIL) has become the 51st most valued firm in the world with $170 billion MCap. The up move in RIL market valuation was driven by strong rally in the company's share following a series of investments in its telecom arm Jio Platforms by global companies and investors that include Facebook, Silver Lake Partners, KKR, General Atlantic, Mubadala, and TPG. Consecutive investments in Jio Platforms have also helped RIL become zero net debt company. ITC Hotels announces food partnership with Zomato. ITC Hotels announced its partnership with Zomato, India's leading food delivery platform, to offer customers responsible dining experiences in the comfort of their home. The association with Zomato further strengthens ITC Hotels' pan-India distribution footprint for home delivery and takeaway. This will widen the outreach of the chain's signature culinary offerings to thousands of customers. Hemang Amin appointed BCCI's interim CEO. Board of Control for Cricket in India has appointed Hemang Amin as its interim CEO. Amin is also the Chief Operating Officer of the Indian Premier League. This development comes days after the BCCI accepted Rahul Johri's resignation as CEO.